Once a corner shrouded in secrecy, now is a place for connection. I'm here in front of Broadview Espresso. In my opinion, the best thing that's happened on the corner of Broadview and Pretoria. This place used to be an adult video store, the kind that gave you creepy vibes that you walked by really quickly and made sure you made no eye contact. Now it's a place to stop in and say hi, catch up with neighbors and friends, and spend a lot more time than they had planned. It's about great coffee, familiar faces, and a sense of belonging. Today, we're sitting down with owner Mike Cullen to learn how his vision turned into 17 years of success at Broadview Espresso. Welcome to Toronto UnWrapped. Listen, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.
My pleasure.
I can't believe this has been open for 17 years.
Really neither.
I can remember driving by this place and looking at the old adult video shop and thinking well, that's a waste of a corner. Does anyone even go in there? I remember when your coffee shop first opened, I was super excited to come have a coffee there. What inspired you to open a coffee shop?
Yeah. So, I actually didn't want to open a coffee shop initially. I wanted to open a pizza store.
Really?
Yeah. And gosh, I went to Victoria after working here for 17 years in Toronto,
right?
Victoria, and I worked at my buddy's pizza store for a brief time, just volunteered to learn the ropes a bit. Came back here thinking it's time to open my store, and I couldn't find one that was affordable as far as with all the equipment, and I don't think I have enough money. But in my little stint in Victoria, I discovered sort of a new wave of coffee at two of the shops there, and I started going there every other day and chatting with the owner, and got interested in coffee for the first time, because before that I didn't really drink coffee. And when I got back looking, I was working at Globe Bistro down the road.
Okay.
And a couple asked me after dinner one night, where do I get a good espresso? And I was like, ooh, do you want Starbucks? Or no, a good coffee shop. We don't have one here. And I literally turned around, I was like, oh my God, I can open a coffee shop in the neighborhood. And that was kind of the start. And I was trying to get a place on the dance floor for 5 months, negotiating back and forth with the owner. And finally we had a disagreement on one thing. He wouldn't bend, so I was like, forget it. And literally the next day, the store had a for lease sign on it. And I walked by this store 4 or 5 years before, because I had an apartment up the road. My first night walking home, I saw this store, the porn store. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, I was like, I want that store. She's like, that porn store? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's beautiful. Look at this corner. And she's like, what would you put in it? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what, but I promise you, if that place ever comes for lease, I'm going to get it. And the day after this thing, it went up for lease. And we were off to New York City the next morning. So I was freaking out. It finally came up for lease. And the guy's not answering his phone. I left 30 messages. His voicemail was full. And the whole time in New York, every hour I'd call, because I really wanted it so badly. I didn't want anyone else to get it. And long story short on that, another 6 months of trying to get this place. The owner was like, how are you gonna make coffee and make rent? You can't make money when selling coffee. And I had to convince him for 6 months. And one day I got a call from his side who was taken out. He was a realtor. And he said, you have 10 minutes. If you can get this, and this by tomorrow to my dad, he will give it to you. And I had to go to the bank, I had to get a draft, I had to show how much money I had, I had to give him a deposit, which is, you don't do, but I was willing to do anything. And I always joke, I'm like, the first thing I ever worked for in my life was this lease.
Right.
And it took me 6.5 months of bugging this guy.
Because he didn't believe it could succeed.
No, he's a 90-year-old Italian man. And
is he still the owner today?
He unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but this guy was his nickname was the Bull. In the early days in this neighborhood, because he was an Italian immigrant who helped other immigrants come over.
Right.
And apparently he was tough as nails. He was a little guy. The first time I met him, I thought he was 70, 75. Turned out he was 90.
Yeah, God.
And he turned out to be an awesome man. I loved him.
Right.
He was a stereotypical, he kind of looked like the Italian mafioso, right? He still wore a fedora, always had a suit on. He had a lady that was his friend who would drive him everywhere. And he was hard as nails, but I got to...
Did he get to see some of your success?
He sure did. His son told me after, and his daughter actually, they come in here sometimes. And he told me, I guess he kind of secretly told them, really proud of this guy, he's making it work. Because he just was he was a hard guy to deal with. I was actually proud of myself, because it's the first time I ever really stood up to somebody, because he tried to get me to pay for everything.
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm not paying for that. That's your job.
He was trying to break it.
Yeah, he tried, but I wouldn't let him. And I think he respected me for it. And he was actually, he told his kids how proud he was of me for doing that, which made me feel really good, because I had this secret love for him. Like, it was hard, because he was a hardcore guy. And he was hard, but I really liked our conversations.
Sometimes those people are the ones that, like, they give you the most. You take a lot from it, even though it's not any fun during the process.
Yeah, it's hard, but I mean, I think part of growing up, and it was an experience that I had that I think helped me get tougher and just grow.
So you said, you gave me so much there, and that is an incredible story. Because you talked about you found, when you were in Victoria, you discovered coffee. Now, when I first started coming here and I was like raving about the coffee, someone told me, he was working here at the time, that you would actually come here after hours and spend hours trying to perfect your coffee.
I would come.
What were you working on?
Well, so I've always been really interested in food and drink my whole life. Like, I've dedicated my life to hospitality. I started working in the restaurants when I was just before my 50th birthday, and been ever since. So, I travel. I didn't travel to see culture. I wanted to see the food. I worked in kitchens. I would jump in and help, like, the old Thai lady on the corner in Thailand. She let me learn how to cook for her. Or I lived with an Italian family for a month and a half and worked in the kitchen to learn how to cook, and because I love food. And so when I started this, we want it to be good, right? And so I was trying to make it as good as I can, and I think I can make it better. I think I can make it better. And I'd sit here and make, hundreds of coffees a day, but I can't taste every one before I hand it over. And so I got curious. I was like, well, this shot's moving a little slower. This one's moving a little fast. Like, what's the difference? So I would come here, like, one night, I'll give you the biggest one. I came here one night, decided I'd been open for, I don't know, let's say 6 months to a year or whatever it was. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. Because I'd lay in bed and I'd go, how do I make it better? Can I make my shots longer? Don't make them faster. And I came here one night. I was like, make sure I didn't work the next morning. I'm going to stay here. I ended up making somewhere around 50 to 60 coffees. And I drank every one. Or at least I consumed them. I didn't necessarily drink them all. I can't even tell you, like, the amount of bathroom trips and whatever. I came home that night and I was hallucinating. I actually thought someone was breaking into my house.
From so much caffeine.
It was the only time I've ever done it that hard. And I was like, I had a knife in my hand. I was like, somebody's trying to break into my house. So the sensor would kept going off. It was like 4 a.m. because I was up all night.
Right.
As you can imagine. And so if something went wrong, if the coffee wasn't tasting right, I would go crazy. Like, I would sit here. Like, there was one time our espresso didn't taste right. And I called my roaster, something's wrong. He's like, no, everything's good. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, something's wrong. It doesn't taste right. Then I'm like, okay, so there's something I'm doing. I stayed here till like 3 a.m. I went through like 3-4 kilos of espresso trying to fix it, only to find out the next Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. I think it was a long weekend, if I recall. And he's like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. He goes, there actually, for the first time in our history of our roastery, we didn't slow down this summer. Because usually, because people go to cottages, most of the shops we handle, their volume goes down. It's the first summer in the history of the store, and even so. Usually, when you roast espresso blends, you have to degas them for 3 to 5 days, or the CO2 is too much. And so they didn't have time to degas, so they just instantly packaged it. And so that was causing the problems with flavor.
So you tasted it right away?
Oh, dude, I still remember, I was insane. Like, I was like, what is going on? This coffee is horrible. I'm going to go out of business. Because when you first start, you want everything to be perfect. If you find something like my coffee's gross, it's not good. So when he called me that Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, and told me that, I was like, oh my God, you should have told me this, man. Like, I've been going crazy.
Right.
And so he told me, he goes, cut like 6 or 7 bags open and let them gas. He goes, even like a few hours will help. And it totally helped. Like, if you had just told me that at the beginning, I would have done that and we would have been fine. Wow. But he's like, you know what, Mike? He goes, I have over 1,200 clients. You're the only one that noticed. So I felt really good and validated, but I also was going crazy because I literally, like, my whole weekend was destroyed. Like, I had 6 kilos of espresso down the toilet and drinking shit ton of coffee and freaking out.
Well, I can tell you because I have the coffee all the time.
Yeah.
I can feel the love that you put into that coffee.
Well, that's good. That's always the goal, right? So
Yeah.
I just want people to have a good experience, whether it be the hello, how are you, and the coffee. So
Let's talk a little bit about that, like your vision for this place, because it's more than coffee. You definitely got a real community vibe.
yeah.
And what was your vision when you opened this up?
I could tell you. So during that time when I was trying to get it, I would walk, because my house was 3 doors up, I would walk and look into the window at night, literally visualizing what the store would look like. And other than the espresso machine I ended up getting, it looked exactly the same. And my goal, I remember telling my mom, because the landlord wasn't going to give it to me, and I would have gone home for Christmas. I was a bit bummed out. And I told my mom, like, I want to shop this, like, really part of the community. I want people to walk in, whether they're buying or not, just to say hello. I want people to know us.
Right.
I want it to be a home away from home. Like, if somebody's lonely, I want them to say, I'm just going to drop by and say hi. That was my vision, like, obviously good coffee, but I also wanted to be a place where people could feel comfortable and connected. And that's what happened. Like, you know, when I used to work here like 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
I would close the store at 7. I would be here till 11 because people would come hang out with me. Guys would help me sweep the floor, chat, they'd bring a couple beers over, we'd sit in the back. I sometimes wouldn't leave here till like midnight.
Yeah.
And it was just people I'd met through the store. And like, at some point, like, I couldn't walk in this within a kilometer of here without saying hi to 50 people, go to the grocery store. My girlfriend at the time said, "Do you just not walk around the store today?" I'm like, "Oh, what are you telling me? This is my business." And it just turned into this thing. Like, it was crazy, but everything I ever wanted for this store, as far as having good coffee and then having that community vibe, it happened to a T. Like, it's exactly my vision.
Totally.
And it just has continued on for this whole time. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
You also support, so you have music nights, I think once a month. Is it once a month?
Currently, yeah, we do they call it a soiree.
And you also support artists. Where did that come from?
Well, it's part of the community vibe, right? I initially, when I opened the store, I had 0 things on the wall, and people would ask me, "What are you gonna do with this place? Like, you don't have anything." I'm like, "You know what? I don't know. You tell me." And they'd be like, look at me like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, it's not my store. It's yours. So I want you to." So people would start adding, like, when I first opened, I had shelving all in the back. And then people would come like, "Hey, you know what? I had this old radio. I thought it really looked good here." I'm like, "Let's put it on the shelf." And that started a trend. All of a sudden, I had like 5 old antique radios. I had an old globe that somebody brought in. I had some old photograph, like so much stuff. And so that's just kind of how it happened. And then I had a girl that was working here who was an artist. And she's like, "We should hang up art and let's do it. Let's do a monthly art thing." And she took it over and she started doing it. It's never stopped. So we rotate every month. And we've been doing that like 17 years of a different artist every month. And I like it. I mean, it helps with the store because it changes it up every month. It gives people a talking point.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like it or not, everyone's an art critic. And sometimes it looks amazing, sometimes not so amazing. And sometimes it's really high-end art, sometimes it's beginner's art. And, you know, I've even had some children hang up stuff over the years a few times. And I think it's just a great way to connect the community.
For sure.
Start conversation. So that's why I do it. I've always had somebody that works here that likes to take care of it. And I'm like, "It's all yours, your project." I got nothing to do with it. But I love coming in. Like, I popped in here on Saturday and the guy was hanging his art. So I got to chat with him a little bit and see his art. And it's just cool. Yeah, I really like it. I like it. And the music stuff we used to do it before I had my kids. Often like 2 or 3 times a month. I always did it on a Saturday because we closed a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And, you know, Saturday night. Didn't feel like the neighbors would be as bothered. And so we just do it. And that was mostly people who I met through the store. And they'd ask me if they could play. And I'm like, "Sure, it's yours." And I wouldn't charge anything. It was just a night. And that was awesome. Then we stopped doing it for quite a while. And just in the last year and a half or so, we have a musician that comes here regularly and another guy. And they approached me, "Can we do this once a month?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And it's become the highlight of my month. I get my partner, and like, she works once a week at a restaurant still, and I always ask her, "Don't do the Thursday," because I want to be here.
You want to be here.
I love it. It's like the connection I'm having with the musicians and the people that are coming is really lovely. It brings life to the store at night. There's a little different, and these guys are real musicians too. They're not like, some of them are amateur or whatever, but I would say 75% of these guys are like trained professionals.
You know, maybe one day Chris and I will come play some because we're both previous professionals.
I think you guys would like it. Honestly, it's like people kind of roll their eyes when I suggest it, especially people who were professionals.
Yeah.
Thinking like, or whatever. But no, these guys, almost all of them are professionals now, or they were.
Right.
And so they're top notch. Like I would say 75% of them are that. 25% are, you know, the guy that just wants to try it out, which also is great. We've had people walk off the street and play, and we had this one woman walking, what are you guys doing in here? And I'm like, told her, and she's like, I'm gonna come to your next one. And she did. A young girl, like maybe 21, 22. Like, I'm like, why am I not watching you at, you know, Scotia Bank?
Yeah.
That good. And everybody was like, so those little moments are so special, right? I'm like, I can't believe this is happening in my little store. And some of the musicians that have passed through here, some of them have worked here and then played. Blows my mind, yeah. It's awesome.
What about a pizza shop? Will we ever see a pizza shop from you?
Funny you should ask.
Oh, really?
I just recently bought a commercial pizza oven for my other shop in the basement.
Okay.
I'm just in a process of moving. Once that's all settled and I'm in my new house, I can start making pizzas.
Amazing.
Then we'll see where it goes. I'm gonna start just serving the customers I have, and then perfect my craft, if you will. And then once I figure it's good enough, I'll launch it as a side business downstairs and start delivery and pickup. And then if it takes off that way, then I'll consider a store.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Broadview pizza, cement pizza.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, of course. So if you're ever around Broadview and Danforth, drop by for a coffee. It's some of the best you'll find. And you'll see why this has become a neighborhood staple.